What's up, guys? Back here again. The interesting video. It's actually spawns from AMC Movie Talk and the March Madness brackets. They have March Movie Madness brackets where they do a like a March Madness style, but for comic book movies. This is actually interesting because if you follow my videos, I just did my top 10 comic book movies. So, I'm going to go ahead and show you the graphic here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into the... oh, what's going on here? Oh, okay. Don't mind that. We're going to go ahead and jump on into the first bracket, which I have here as the Nolan bracket. Go ahead and show you that one again. Alright, so in the first Nolan bracket, we've got the number 1 seed, The Dark Knight, against Iron Man 3, which is the number 16 seed. I think this one is a no-brainer. Dark Knight is going to win, hands down. Every day of the week, The Dark Knight is going to beat Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 I thought was okay. I didn't really like the Mandarin reveal. I thought it was funny. But at the same time, I was like, that's Iron Man's most iconic villain. And just throw him away like that. But if you watch the short, or the Marvel one-shot, All Hail the King, it kind of redeems itself. But, that's a little off topic. Dark Knight wins that round. Alright, so the number 2 seed goes against the number 15. So, excuse me. Number 15 is Spider-Man 2 against Kick-Ass 2. I felt Kick-Ass 2 was kind of a letdown altogether anyways. It was real brutal. I felt like it was kind of a letdown. And Spider-Man 2 is actually the only Spider-Man movie I liked from Raimi's trilogy. It's the only one that I felt was done right. So I'm gonna go with Spider-Man 2. Alright, then where are we at? Number 3 seed X-Men, the original X-Men movie, versus number 14 Punisher Warzone. This is a pretty good one because I actually really liked Punisher Warzone. I felt like it was a great step from the last one. I think it was a reboot. Yeah, it was like a soft reboot. But I preferred Warzone to the original. However, I'm gonna pick X-Men because that kind of was the movie that started the big Marvel boom. There was a couple Marvel movies before. Blade had just came out a little before that. But I think a lot of people still to this day don't even realize, a lot of the mainstream fans don't even realize that Blade is a comic book movie. So I'm gonna go with X-Men. Alright, then next we have the number 4 seed Thor versus the number 13 seed The Incredible Hulk, the Edward Norton version. I think this is a pretty interesting matchup because they're both Avengers Phase 1 films. It's kind of hard. I did kind of like Thor, but I'm going to go ahead and go with The Incredible Hulk on this one. I might be in the minority here, but I really like The Incredible Hulk. I like what they did with the movie. It was the Hulk, but it was kind of like it could have been a totally different movie if they didn't use the Hulk. I like when they have comic book movies that do that, where it doesn't have to be about the comic book here. I'm kind of rambling here. It's a little hard to explain, but where they could have done this movie and it could have not been about the Hulk. They could have changed it up completely. If you get what I'm saying, thumbs up to you. If you don't, just ignore me. Alright, next up we have number 5 seed Batman Begins versus number 12 seed Dredd. I really did like Dredd. I thought it was definitely a surprise. It was way better than the Sylvester Stallone version. But, you know, I'm going to have to give it to Batman Begins. Because on some days, I like Batman Begins more than The Dark Knight. Some days. So, next up, we are at the number 6 seed, Superman the movie, versus the number 11 seed, The Dark Knight Rises. I've never really been that big on Superman. So I know a lot of people like hail it as a classic. I'm gonna have to go with Dark Knight Rises here, just for the simple fact that The Dark Knight Rises is more memorable to me. I prefer The Dark Knight Rises. All right, next up we have number 7 seed, Man of Steel, going against the number 10 seed, Hellboy. I thought Man of Steel was good. Like I said, I'm not big on Superman. When this was first announced, I was like, they're doing another Superman movie. You know, this movie's gonna suck. When I first seen Henry Cavill in the Superman suit, I was like, yeah, you know, that looks kind of cool, but I don't know how well it's gonna do. You know, it did really good, way better than I thought it was gonna do. But I'm gonna have to go with Hellboy. I think Hellboy was more of a surprise because Hellboy comes from I think Dark Horse Comics. I may be wrong on that one. But you know, he was one of the lesser known comic book characters, or he was with a lesser known comic book franchise, and he's their biggest character. And I thought the movie was just done right. You know, it was really good. All right, next, one of the last seed in the Nolan bracket, number 8 seed, Captain America, the First Avenger, versus number 9, Watchmen. What I liked about Captain America is it was almost like it could have just been a World War II movie. So I really liked that. I thought that one was pretty good. You know, they really adapted that pretty well. But I'm going with the number 9 seed, Watchmen. I just recently revisited that movie, and it's really good. You know, it's pretty long, but when you sit down and you watch it all, it's really good. So there's my picks for the Nolan bracket. I'm going with The Dark Knight. After I read these off, I'm going to go ahead and show you the bracket again, and then after that, I'm going to show you the Whedon bracket, and we're going to get started on that one. So my picks for the Nolan bracket are The Dark Knight, Watchmen, Batman Begins, The Incredible Hulk, The Dark Knight Rises, X-Men, Hellboy, and Spider-Man 2. Okay, so go ahead and check out both of these brackets, and then we're going to get started on hopefully you paid attention to that last bracket that just came up. So let's jump right on into this. The first one is the number 1 seed, The Avengers, versus number 16 seed, Iron Man 2. While I did really enjoy Iron Man 2 a lot more than other people have enjoyed Iron Man 2, you know, you gotta go with The Avengers there. Excuse me. The Avengers is definitely one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. So, you know, no brainer there. You have to pick that one. It is clearly better than Iron Man 2. Alright, then number 2 seed is X-Men 2 versus the number 15 seed Hellboy 2. Like I just said in the last bracket, I really enjoyed the Hellboy movies. I actually prefer the first movie over the second one. So, X-Men 2 is getting my vote. Regardless of whatever movie it had been, it probably would have been X-Men 2 because X-Men 2 is actually my favorite X-Men film. I thought it was the best X-Men movie. I got it on DVD when it first came out back in, was it 2002 maybe? 2000, no, it might have been 2003. But, yeah, it was definitely a really good movie. Everything about it really came together. And I actually think that was probably the best comic book film at the time it came out. Alright, next up we have number 3, seed Iron Man versus number 14 seed, oh, excuse me, the Wolverine. And this was kind of hard for me because I really did like Iron Man, but I also really did like the Wolverine. You know, the end, it kind of, you know, it kind of got a little messed up. But I still enjoyed the movie altogether. I liked the tone to the movie. I think I might have to go with Iron Man. I'm going to have to choose that one because, you know, altogether, it's really what launched the Avengers movies. They really kind of rode on the success of that movie. If that one hadn't done so well, I don't think we would have the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we have today. I think it all depended on Iron Man, and Iron Man came through and actually, you know, launched Iron Man as an A-list character. Where if this movie had been done in the 90s, both of these movies had been done in the 90s, I think Wolverine would probably have been the #1 movie, because Wolverine is a bigger comic book character. Iron Man is only a bigger comic book character now because of the Iron Man movies. So I'm going to have to give credit to the Iron Man movie. Next we have Blade 2 in the 4 seed against number 13 seed Batman Begins. And as much as I liked Batman Begins when I was a kid, I'm going to go with Blade 2 here, and I'll give my reasons for those in a minute. But a funny story about Batman Returns is for like 3 or 4 years in a row, around Christmas time, I got the same Christmas present, and it was the Michael Keaton Batman figure where you slide on the mask and the cape, and it comes with 2 penguins. I got that 4 years in a row. Okay? And for some reason, I never got old, and somehow I always lost the Batman. So every Christmas, I always got another Batman, and I ended up having like 8 penguins. But I'm going with Blade 2 because I like how they did the movie. I like both directors on both of these movies, but I like Guillermo del Toro's visionary style that he does, and I feel like Blade 2 was definitely the best Blade movie, and is a better movie in this category here, or in this matchup. So Blade 2 is my pick. Next we have number 5, Superman 2 versus number 12, Thor: The Dark World. And this goes back to me saying, I wasn't really a fan of Superman. I think the only memorable thing out of this Superman is Kneel Before Zod. That's it. For me, at least. If you're a Superman fan, you probably have more of a passion for the movie than I do. I'm not really that big on Superman. So I'm going to go with Thor: The Dark World. And I'm going to go with this because I liked how we spent a lot of time, or we got to travel around to the other realms, and I like that we got more Loki. He plays the character great, so I'm going with Thor. Okay, so next up we have number 6 seed Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, versus number 11 seed Batman. I'm going to go ahead and just say I choose Batman right now because I like the tone of that movie. I feel like that was a better movie altogether. It had that 1940s feel to it, which is kind of how they wanted it to be. Whereas with Spider-Man, I liked it when I was younger, but as I got older, I felt like the Green Goblin, just the plastic mask that he put on, or the mask helmet, I thought that was kind of dumb. And I saw the special features where they tried to do like an animatronic face, but they didn't because they thought it would be too scary for kids. But it actually looked more like it did in the comic. So, for that reason alone, I'm going to have to go ahead and... No, not that reason. There's lots of reasons. I really don't like Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. I think Andrew Garfield does a way better job as Spider-Man. So, I'm rambling here. I'm going with Batman. Alright, then next up we have the number 7 seed X-Men First Class versus number 10 seed Blade. I actually just watched Blade again the other day. Blade's a really good movie. I'm real big on the vampire movies. Not just like the comic book movies, vampire comic book movies, but like vampire movies in general. It's a really good movie, and this is a real tough matchup because X-Men First Class was really good, but I'm going to have to go with X-Men First Class because I just like the whole vibe of the Hellfire Club. They had the Cuban Missile Crisis in there. They got Kevin Bacon playing the villain. Michael Fassbender did a great job as Magneto. There's a lot of pluses to X-Men. I'm more of an X-Men fan than Blade, but not to discredit Blade here, but I'm just going with X-Men First Class because I think it's a better movie. Okay, then we have number 8 seed against Kick-Ass, or Kick-Ass against The Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man was a great movie. I really liked it. But I'm going to go with Kick-Ass here. And I'm going to tell you why. Hit Girl. Nothing in Spider-Man compares to Hit Girl. She kicked so much ass in that movie. And the movie itself was a surprise for me. You know, it was funny. It was good. It was pretty graphic. You know, pretty good movie. Alright, I'm going to show you this bracket here one more time. So check that out.